Semifinals. I'm Doa. With me is Nimsh as always, and Lothar joins us. Another pro on the desk, and we are going to be casting Inderen versus Orange. Orange, of course, taking out RDU, and Inderen taking, or RDU rather, and Inderen taking out James to make it this far. So, seeing these players play so far, Nimsh, Lothar, what do you think? Can you call this one?
Well, it will be very hard to call this one, but on the other hand, because Inderen is a vanquisher of Firebat.
Right.
He won versus the world champion, and then he won versus James, the European Demon Lock. But then Orange is a really experienced player. He played a couple offline events. This is his biggest offline event. But then he went through all those online qualifiers. So from experience, I will give it to Orange, but on the other hand, Inderen is kind of like a rising star. He is really stepping into Orange's footsteps, qualified for VIA game as well, qualified for this tournament. So he is definitely a force to reckon as well.
What do you think?
I agree totally. I think Orange has quite some experience with open qualifiers and maybe with bigger broadcasted tournaments. So this might be a leverage for him here. And also, I think the problem with Inderen here is he might be harder to read for Orange because he's not so known as Orange right now. So I think that this is something that Inderen will also try to push in this direction, I think.
Yeah, well, a lot on the line too. $30,000 US total in the prize pool. We also have 230 Hearthstone World Championship points on the line as well. So this is big for both of these players. It could be a big step, like Inderen taking out Firebat. This could be his opportunity to go to the World Championships maybe a little bit later this year, kind of getting a boost off of these points. And Orange, so much drive in this guy. He really wants his big first win. I think we're in for an awesome first best semifinal. And now let's check out the classes that these players have brought. It's going to be Rogue, Mage, and Druid for Inderen, and then Orange will be bringing Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior.
This is interesting. This is definitely an interesting lineup. Rogue will be very important, a very powerful deck. A similar deck for both players, I believe. The Oil Rogue, there might be some differences, but more or less the same thing. Mage for Inderen, we've seen this as a tempo mage with more secrets, with Ragnaros, and a very interesting deck. And Druid, he switched from his combo Druid that he used before into the Taunt Druid. Yeah. Where Orange is playing this original Warrior build and a mid-range Hunter. Lothar, who do you think has an advantage, looking at those lineups?
I think actually Inderen will have a slight edge, in my opinion. Well, is the Druid playing one combo maybe, or was it just pure ramp with taunts?
I think there was no combo.
It was a big-time ramp deck. Yeah, 2 Ancients of War. It was pretty beefy.
Well, the problem is the mid-range Hunter is being countered by the Rogue. The Rogue is being countered by the Warrior. The Druid, even without the combo, should overcome the Warrior. And then it's Mage versus, well, basically almost any deck that is Orange bringing is like a flip of the coin. Right?
And it's Druid versus Rogue for our first game, too, here. It looks like we're almost ready to get into our first game, but as we do that, Druid versus Rogue, I mean, I feel like you got to give a little bit of an edge to the Druid, especially since we saw it was such a ramp-heavy Druid.
You can compare it to a matchup when Rogue has to overcome the handlock.
Yeah, very true.
Ancient of War is basically a taunted up Twilight Drake, and that's a huge problem for the Rogue player, unless, of course, he has a sap there.
This matchup, as we said, is very delicate. If the Rogue is able to get enough cards and fill his hand with good quality options, then he might be able to win just putting an early pressure, dealing with those taunts, getting a very huge flurry.
Yeah,
will get the game. If Rogue is getting tempo and then using a sap to deal even more damage and flurry, Rogue is going to win. But if Rogue is getting out of cards, if he'll run out of steam, then Druid will have an edge on the other hand, because Druid will be one with the big taunt wall. That's hard to deal with.
Well, look at this, Inderen even using Sen'jin Shield Masters in this deck. So it is about as taunt heavy as a ramp Druid possibly gets. Deadly Poison, Lothar, and SI7 Agent. The opening hand for Orange here, and Steed Soul Shredder. Not going to see that for a little while, but still a very cool card. So here we go.
As a Rogue player, Orange, what Orange wants to do is to set up as many minions on the board as possible.
Well, for Inderen, the bad thing is that he didn't get the Wild Growth. Druid really wants to get a Wild Growth to start things off. He has that coin and he has Iterate, so he will be able to streamline his curve a bit. But you know, Zombie Chow is not a card you want to see on this late turn.
Well, I don't actually agree. I think the Zombie Chow might be a great play here because then you can use the Innervate to play the Ancient of War earlier on. Because you have the turn 3 covered by Coin and Senjin. Then turn 5 is Ancient of War with Innervate, so you have to just find time to play the Sneeds. And the Sneeds might be one of the weakest cards against Rogue in this matchup, at least for now, when we see those 2 saps in Orange's hand.
Oh, Deadly Poison could take it out right now. Do you think he should do that? Just wait, maybe establish the board a little bit more with SI7 Agent?
The problem is if he plays the SI Agent right now, it's being just executed by the Zombie Chow and the hero power of Druid, but on the other hand, this makes the Druid being like off mana curve. He won't be able to play a bigger creature and on the turn before. So this might be one of the things that Orange might be looking for.
That certainly could be. A little bit of damage to the face, just renewing that weapon now and sending it back over to Inderen.
We can see that Orange's turn was really awkward. Like just using Deadly Poison, just playing SA7, not good option. So he decides to keep those cards for turn 4. This makes his turn 4 pretty good. Like Deadly Poison SA7, he'll be able to activate the combo, and then on turn 5 he has Lothep. So for Orange, that's the situation. For Inderen, then he has that Zombie Chow that I didn't get really excited about because he has a lot of great cards in his hand right now.
Yeah. Now he can coin out the Senjin Shieldmaster, and that's going to maybe allow that Zombie Chow to actually get in a significant amount of damage, possibly.
Well, it's really about like how do you set up your curve. If you coin out the Senjin now, next turn you will have 4 mana. With Innervate you will have 6, so it's a bit awkward.
You're right.
If you Innervate now, you'll have 5, so you can play one of the 5 drops, and the next turn you will be able to play either the Senjin or maybe coin out another 5 drop.
That's a very good point. Which one do you think it's going to be, Lothar? Okay, never mind. Sludge Belcher.
Belcher is the best option here, just because it's not being. You don't leave your Zombie Chow like, unprotected, even if the Belcher dies, and that's something you want to keep on your board. Because if there will be some minions from Orange on the Orange side, you have to deal with those. And as we all know, Druid has hard time dealing with creatures that have more than 2 points of HP.
Well, on the other hand, Orange is able to deal with the Sludge Belcher very easily. But there is this Sludge token and a Zombie Chow, so... Well, I think that Gadgets and Auctioneer will be very important to refill the hand because Orange's hand doesn't look that great right now.
Yeah, he needs a bit more. Inderen on this turn, he could still play that Senjin if he wanted to. He's got that wild growth, though. Is it worth it to kind of delay your board growth to get that extra mana down the line?
You have to take into account what will Rogue do on turn 5, and you can like see your chances if there will be a 5 drop, like a Lothep, like a Drake, and I think you can go for the hero power and wild growth just because of that. You have the time. You also decrease the value of the sacks.
Yeah.
You know, you got those creatures earlier on anyway, and any Innervate will be actually used for not pushing bigger minions, just to push more cards into the battlefield.
There is a backstab which will be important with this Gadgets and Auctioneer.
He is setting up for a huge Gadget and turn.
Yeah, well,
potentially.
I think like if he gets preparation, that would be actually amazing.
Yeah.
Because right now in Inderen's hand we see a lot of big minions. So if Orange picks up preparation on next turn, you'll be able to Gadget and prep stab and backstab if he wants to. Get those cards in. Still, Lothep is annoying for the Druid.
Yeah, it really is. Especially after you see another Innervate draw. That could have been a big turn.
And that coin was really important this turn. He's
That's
not
true.
able to play at 7 mana drop, like an Ancient of War, which would be crucial to battle against a 5 HP minion.
That's why, in general, I think the combo Druid is better versus Rogue, because you, like being a taunt Druid, you give Rogue enough time to get those cards. Right now, oh my
Oh,
god,
he got it.
preparation.
Wow.
But I don't think you actually use the preparation.
You don't
I
this
guess.
turn, but still, well, do you then not play the Gadgetsan?
Yeah,
because
you just wait.
keep-
You know that it's a taunt Druid, so you have time. You don't need to battle those imaginary combo. It's
no more miracles happening here, yeah.
it's more of a steady battle, like against Handlock, as I said before.
Right.
You can just count damage in your hand and see a point when you can sap those taunts and go with a little damage.
Well, if Inderen is going for the biggest creature here,
He is.
the next turn for Orange is going to be amazing with Gadgets and Preparation Sap.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's going to be pretty disappointed Inderen on our screen in just a moment.
So looking at Orange's hand, it's not that great right now, but he is going to mix so many cards.
man.
Another
Wow.
backstab.
Second backstab.
And backstab is a card you do want to cycle. You don't want to you might not want to have backstab in your hand.
Yep, Deadly Poison to start things off with. We've got that prep, 2 backstabs. There's the Eviscerate as well.
Most of the time, you want to keep the Eviscerate as a face damage, just to finish the game off.
So he's going to use 1 backstab on the Ancient of War just to see what he draws. I would imagine, like you mentioned earlier, Nimsh, that's going to get sapped at some point with the prep. Here comes the preparation. We'll see what he does.
I think there is no reason not to sap
Second
it.
Gazetan. Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising to see 2 Gadget Sands in here. I can't remember the last time I've seen that.
All right, Miracle Rogue is back.
Apparently.
Confirmed.
Crazy. I mean, we saw Sharp Sword Oil in this, didn't we?
I think there's one for sure. Maybe he did cut one. But it's like if you play double sprint, it's really a question. Double sprint, double Gadget Sun,
Or 1-1.
or a 1-1.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're like different builds and have different dynamic. That's why also it changes how you use the preparation. Because if you run sprint, you might use preparation earlier, because you know that on turn 7, if you get a sprint, you're always getting these cards. But if you're on double Gadget Sun, then you keep this preparation for a big Gadgeton turn, as we've seen right here. There's a second sap that will be like,
It's like a time walk here.
guys,
Holy
yeah, 2
cow.
mana, gain extra turn. Seriously, that's overpowered. Double Gadgeton, it's just so crazy. Like what Orange is doing to Inderen right now.
And there's a sap. He's going to get so many draws, so much board control.
It's the best possible scenario. And right now, Inderen doesn't even have a way to deal with this Gadget Suns. There's double Eviscerate in Orange's hand. He has everything.
Those creatures are even more important than any spells that can Oranges draw. Like, imagine how can Druid manage so many creatures on the board? Only like AoE damage with double swipe with double spell power.
Now, we are going to see Druid, come back with some pretty strong minions itself, too. So, but there's a Blade Flurry. That might be even more key. But the question now for our rogue player is, how do you get through? How do you get through and do that final amount of damage? Because with the amount of taunts that are coming out, it could be a little bit tough, couldn't it?
Well, it really depends. If he casts the Blade Flurry here, he's still getting two new cards.
Yeah. Orange gets that Fan of Knives and South Sea Deckhand. Double Gadget Sound, able to clear a little bit more.
I think there will be one Eviscerate here.
Looks like it. He's thinking about it. Another Fan of Knives. This would be a double draw. His hand's getting pretty full. How many cards is that? Yeah, you don't want to burn anything.
That was the reason he sacrificed the one Gazetan, just not to overdraw. And he's also being really close to decking out.
Yep.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you're not afraid of decking out if
this game will be coming to an end in like 1-2 turns.
I like the SI7 agent here because it does take out the last minute on your board. You save as many cards in your hand as you possibly can. And you have enough for the weapon, too.
Well, Orange is setting up lethal. I don't think it's lethal yet, but it's definitely close. And he will still continue to draw cards. He's going to cast the prep. Inderen just patiently getting another taunt in, but it's not enough to stop Orange's onslaught of card drawing in this matchup.
And I think Orange knows, this Ancient of War here or Ancient of War rather, is going to be one of the last taunts he has to deal with. He knows he's almost through. That's a good feeling, and he is running a Tinker's Sharp Sword.
That's an oil. He has preparation with oil. Even if he gets all his cards in the deck, it doesn't matter.
Second.
Oh, wow.
With this, I think that's definitely lethal.
It depends on the hits from the oil, I think.
Why is he going to play the
No, I don't see a point in playing the Talnos here.
Van Cleef, too, seems a little bit overreaching. He's going to go for it anyway. It's a 6/6.
So that Eviscerate deals 5 points of damage. So now with the final, that makes sense with him sacrificing Gazetan.
He's even playing around BGH at this point, having this much advantage. That only shows how considerate Orange is as a player, how secure and safe just setting up this lethal for next turn.
Well, there's nothing that Inderen can do.
I don't
And
think
there's
so.
a BGH.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that Van Cleef stayed where he was at 6-6. You do have to play around it, and that's exactly why. So he could heal for 5, but even that would not be enough to prevent him from getting killed. So it looks like Orange should take game 1.
Yeah, even with clearing the board here, there's the pirate and double oil. So that's
Yeah, that's a good
6,
point.
12, 14, 16. Yeah, that's 24 points of damage.
Wow. That's tons of damage coming from Orange. But he doesn't need it. There is the board.
Yep.
He can just go for it and take game number 1.
Exactly. Orange doesn't matter if he's almost out of cards. He has just the right amount to take this first game against Inderen, take the lead in our first semifinal here at the ESL Legendary Series. And there it is, Orange taking game 1 with that interesting rogue deck, the double gadgets hand. Don't see that very often.
Oh yeah, this is definitely something that we don't see often.
Yeah.
And, Orange only proving that he is a very experienced player. He's not afraid of bringing a different deck. And you know, the first time I've met Orange, it was I believe in December. That was the Millennium Cup.
Okay.
He brought Mage with weapons, like with double water elemental, with Blinktron. So he's a player who is not afraid to experiment and bring his own brew to the tournament. And he used the excellent play from him, but the rogue is done. Like we don't,
Yeah.
we won't see the rogue from Orange. And for Inderen, we are definitely going to see the Stone Druid.
True enough. Well, we'll see if Inderen can tie things up in our next game. Until then, we'll take a quick break, guys, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more ESL Legendary Series action right after this. And welcome back, guys, to the ESL Legendary Series brought to you by HP and Intel. I am Doa here with Nimsh and Lothar, and we are seeing Orange 1 game up over Inderen in our first semifinal match. Orange winning with that Rogue. It's out of the way. Inderen doesn't need to worry about it anymore. He has Rogue, Mage, and Druid. We saw the Druid didn't quite work last game. Orange has, it looks like, Warrior and Hunter left over. What do you think we're going to see for game 2?
Well, I would definitely take, being Orange, I would take the Hunter, because I will assume that the Druid is going to hit again.
Right.
And you don't want to run with your Warrior into a Druid, unless the Warrior is specifically built to counter Druid, which we've seen at Gfinity tournament, with Forsen actually removed Geddon, removed Brawl, and said that he has 100% win rate with his Warrior versus Druids. That was pretty surprising.
That's very bold to say, like 100% in a card game.
I don't know, man. And especially in that matchup, Warrior versus Druid, I don't think there's a Warrior on Earth that has 100% win rate versus a Druid. That's crazy.
Well, you know, guys, Forsen is a 100% player. He goes 4-0 100% or 0-4 100%.
100% honest as well, all the time.
Sure.
Pretty sure. Well, let's see what the decks are going to be. It will be Druid versus Hunter, just like you predicted. So that Druid being tried again by Inderen to see if he can get his first win, tie up the series. Orange going with that Hunter, pretty natural choice.
You know, it's the mindset that players have. It's like, I took my deck, I took my Druid, I trust into my Druid,
Yeah.
and then I lost. But I'm like, I just played it. I feel comfortable with it, and I still need to win at least one game. So you instantly get into a second game with the same deck. You don't randomize it.
That's right. So we are about to get into the game, guys. Game number 2 between Inderen and Orange. Inderen with a chance to tie things up here. It is single elimination. If you can't win this series, you are done. And here we go, guys. The mulligans have appeared.
That was a very important Wild Grove in Inderen's hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
There are 2 key cards in this matchup. One is Wild Grove for the Druid, which we can see for Inderen, and the other is a Freezing Trap for Orange, where we see the Mad Scientist. I think overall, Orange has an advantage with Midrange Hunter versus this kind of Druid, especially if he's able to lock the place with the Freezing Trap. Sometimes it's happening that on turn 4-5, there is this Freezing Trap for 2 mana, or maybe for free because Mad Scientist died.
Right.
And Druid can't play a minion, because you play a 4-6 and you give it for free to your opponent.
You know, I wonder too, looking at that Hunter's Mark, do you think this is a type of deck that includes 2? Usually it's just 1, but in this tournament, do you think you might try it?
I think it's just one Hunter's Mark, in almost every single Hunter. But the usage of Hunter's Mark in this matchup is kind of similar to Sap with the Rogue.
Yeah.
It just gains you tempo. As we could have seen in the last game, Sap basically bought Orange 12 points of mana, if I'm not mistaken. It was like Sneeds, plus Ancient of War, minus a coin, right? Minus the cost of 2 saps. So basically it was around 10 to 12 points of mana.
It's pretty much an extra turn at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same outcome with the Hunter's Mark. You basically just kill a 7 cost mana minion for free almost. Because if you can hit it with a juggle, then it's basically for free, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. Like Orange was able to buy so much mana with the saps that if he's going to buy a car, he's going to buy a Ferrari with the saps. But here, Orange in a good spot, like good start, very aggressive. He doesn't have the big cards like Savannah Highmane, Boom, or whatever big cards he's running in his deck. But he has a very good curve. He has that Animal Companion, 2 Mad Scientist, Pilot, Shredder. Great start for Hunter.
Yeah, really strong. Do you think it's too risky to drop the Knife Juggler now? Are you too worried about things like Wrath?
Even if you get a Wrath, it's 1 Wrath, and then the Freezing Trap is going to hit. So you're fine with that. If one of them is silenced, you know that the second one is going to bring the Freezing Trap. So this is a great play against Keeper of the Grove. If Keeper of the Grove drops and gives you a Freezing Trap, like killing one of them, you're going to kill...
The second one...
You would try to kill the Keeper with the Animal Companion, or maybe lock the Keeper with Animal Companion.
Okay.
If you get a Misha. And keep Mad Scientist on board. And then whatever is getting played on turn 5.
Looks like it's going to be a silence.
Yeah, the silence is way better the outcome for Inderen here, because it basically doesn't give time for Orange to do anything with the trap.
It's potentially a lot of damage to face that Orange is sitting on right now. Do you go ahead and clear the Keeper, or do you just go 8 to face?
I think you sacrifice the Mad Scientist here.
With like
you have the
Hunter's
kill
Mark?
command. No. You sacrifice both Mad Scientists just to get that trap out of your deck to increase the odds of drawing something more relevant in the next turns. And also you keep the Huffer just because it's a beast and you don't have any other beast in your hand. And that kill command might come in handy against some creatures from Druid.
Orange just going for it though. 8 damage to face and already 20 health. For Inderen, he draws that Wrath now. He's got the Druid of the Claw he can possibly play this turn as well. And having that 2/4, he can start to clear those Mad Scientists out, start to get a little bit of damage off the board at least. So maybe a bit of stability coming?
Well, Orange is very aggressive here. So if Inderen wants to stabilize, he probably wants to trade with a 4/2 if he's 2/4. And maybe just develop the Druid of the Claw as a 4/6. There's not... You normally don't expect the Hunter's Mark playing against this deck. Well, you know there might be one, but you can't really play around it.
Yeah, I feel like I usually see at least one in the list. I don't think I've seen one without any.
Really?
If I remember right? Yeah.
That's
Maybe I just haven't looked at enough lists.
It's not like a staple in the Hunters anymore.
Not mid?
It's still very powerful card, especially against Druids.
Well, 2 piloted Shredders now in the hand for Orange.
Yeah, this is a very awkward situation because on one hand you would like to Hunter's Mark the 4/6, go into it with a Mad Scientist, but then you are getting the Freezing Trap, and this 2/2 is going to attack, spring the Freezing Trap, and return on turn 6
Yeah.
kill this to kill the pig. But on the other hand, you are developing the 4/3 and you are pushing damage again, getting your opponent to 16.
Pilot Shredders might be the MVP here because they are really bad targets for refs. They don't know. The refs do almost nothing here.
You know what's very interesting? The fact that Inderen doesn't have any taunts in his hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're right. That's a little bit odd for this deck. He had
Drawing with
really
Sneaks and Katowice is
you had to say it. See, there's the Sludge Belcher.
There's a Sludge Belcher.
Now he's got the taunt.
So now you have to decide, do you attack somewhere with this Keeper of the Grove? It's easy to assume that this is a freezing trap because you've seen that pilot. Well, maybe not really actually. It can still be a Face Hunter.
Nice.
Well, actually, you've seen Orange play. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
He
He's seen Orange
should.
play.
He should know. Yeah.
You should know. Unless you were like somewhere else having fun with IM, watching
That's
watching
true.
the game.
There's a lot to do here. I mean, that is, to be fair, he could have been off checking something out. I doubt it, though. I think he's looking pretty serious to me.
I like Belcher here because Belcher does contest both those minions.
Belcher is a great metagame answer to Pilot Shredder. That's the reason so many decks are switching from one Belcher to two. So there was like a metagame call to drop one Belcher because there was so many Goblin Blast Mages, and low tap was almost in every single deck, and those minions have all 5 points of attack. But now we almost always see double Belcher.
Well, looks like it's going to be the Keeper yet again to take down that Huffer.
That's not bad as well because he killed the Huffer and now this Keeper with the Wrath in hand contests the 4-3.
Right.
Wrath is will be can easily deal with it for free, and then you can still play the Belcher on next turn. And just playing Belcher was not that mana efficient, even though it was okay as well.
Still, the problem is the Druid is only on 12 points of HP.
Effectively,
not
it's 7.
enough.
With the kill command, it's effectively 7 if there is a beast drop from Orange. So Orange getting really close to just killing Inderen.
Yeah. Now, do you just drop the Ancient of War? Are you that worried? Do you maybe heal with the Ancient of Lore instead? I feel like the heal doesn't really do a lot for you right now. Does the taunt?
The other option is to drop Belcher and Wrath.
Oh, yeah.
An example, the Belcher finish it off with the Keeper, but still, that is being then the Belcher is being killed with the Pilot Shredder and the Little Slime. Still, it's kind of okay because you'd buy yourself some time, but your next turn looks kind of awkward because you can drop Ancient of War with something unless you draw an Innervate and you know the rest of your hand, so you can't really drop anything even with that
A
Innervate.
second kill command. I like
huge.
Ancient of War, by the way, because it does contest the board and it's not easy to go through. And he's seen one Hunter's Mark already, so he might assume that there is no more Hunter's Mark ever there. I'm not sure if Orange is running any silences, but silence is not that popular in this kind of Hunter.
Also,
like-
he can guess he can get a Crocodile or
It's Beast.
Bloodfen Raptor.
Well,
Oh,
it's
man.
actually a protected beast.
If that beast lives, it could be the end of the game with those 2 kill commands.
So now Inderen has to kill the Belcher with the Ancient of War,
Right.
then use the Wrath on the Bloodfen Raptor. Keeper of the Grove will kill the Little Slime, and he doesn't have time to use the Ancient of War this turn.
Wait, would you kill the Bloodfen Raptor? Would you really consider double kill command in your opponent's hand?
Well, it's a hunter.
It's always a possibility,
Yeah.
We've all
Even
died to that
one.
like many times.
Even one is a huge threat here. But
True.
if you play the Ancient of Lore and heal yourself, it's basically like you would use the Wrap and just cancel one kill command. So basically the outcome would be the same. But Belcher is way safer.
Yeah.
I like this kind of play.
Well, the beast is taken out. But there's a Savannah Highmane, and that one may be a little bit tougher to get rid of.
That's a lot of beasts.
The head is...
he actually got
no
the beast.
way!
What
Second
just happened?
beast.
This is game over.
That is it. I can't believe it. Orange with the double kill command after getting the Haunted Creeper from a piloted Shredder.
Double
This
beast
guy.
from double piloted
Double
Shredder.
beast is a hunter.
Seriously.
You don't even need a Hyman to win versus Druid if you have double kill command and a Haunted Creeper. Oh my god.
Wow, absolutely amazing win for Orange. He is up 2-0 in the series. He's 1 win away now from going to the finals.
Definitely Orange has some RNG on his side today.
I think the luck seems to be with him, man. I mean, Ragnaros is there as well, as we saw in the first match. But, in the end, it's a player that puts himself in the position to let that happen. So well played by Orange. And Inderen, he's down 2 games, which is really scary now. I mean, of course, this is Conquest. He's got all his decks left. He knows the Warrior is coming. You know, I want to ask you guys what you think, but you know what? We have to take a break first. When we come back, we will see if Orange can take this match 3-0 or if Inderen will be able to start the comeback. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're still going strong here at the ESL Legendary Series. We'll be right back. And we're back here at the ESL Legendary Series, and Orange one game away from getting that 3-0, moving on to the finals. Inderen kind of on the ropes, down 0-2. We know the Warrior from Orange is coming. So if you're Inderen right now, you've got Rogue, you've got Mage, you've got Druid. You've just lost 2 games on the Druid. Do you keep trying? What do you go with?
Well, I definitely think you still continue with the Druid. First, you've played 2 games with the Druid, you feel good with it. Second, Warrior is a deck that you counter with the Druid.
Yeah.
So definitely continue going with the Druid. And I want to mention that Inderen, even though he's not that experienced, he is experienced with coming from behind. He was 2 games down versus the world champion. He was losing 2-1 versus Firebat, and still he was able to take the series. He was able to win versus Firebat 3-2. So even though he is losing versus Orange now, he still can make it. If he defeats Druid, if he defeats Warrior with the Druid, then he has his Mage. It's possible to win with Mage, and then the last deck will be Rogue. It's also possible. Even though it's hard, I think this match is not over yet.
True enough, and I mean, as you know, when you go up against a Warrior with Druid, you feel pretty good going into it. I mean, traditionally, it's been a pretty decent matchup for Druid.
Oh, is Orange playing Black Knight in his Warrior? That's the question.
That's the thing, is I think Orange's deck, from what we saw earlier today, maybe does have a couple things that can help. He also has been running a Spellbreaker that we saw too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so he may be a little bit better situated against this Druid than some other Warriors.
We'll have to see. The lack of combo is...
It's going to be a Mage, actually, though. Look at that.
Oh.
Sorry to cut you off, but Mage versus Warrior this time.
The inconsistency with the picking of the next deck is kind of weird to me, you know? If you stick around for... if you want to repeat your deck for the second game, it kind of indicates that you want also to use it as your third deck if it doesn't work. That's why I'm the fan of switching almost every single time. Even if you lose the first game, you want to switch, because most of the time your decks will have better chances against the other 2 than the first deck that you chose. So
True
we'll
enough.
have to see.
Here we go. Interesting stuff from Inderen. See that Flame Cannon, the Unstable Portal, possibly in that opening hand. Meanwhile, pretty decent opening hand for Orange. If you're a Warrior, you love seeing that early fiery War Axe for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially because you know what kind of deck you're facing. Inderen was playing this deck before in the round of 16. He was playing it here in the round of 8.
Yeah.
So in the round of 4, Orange know what he's coming up against, and he will expect something like Apprentice, something like Mana Worm coming from Inderen. So this Fire War Axe is a great card, Acolyte as well.
Do you think that Inderen brought the mate because he thinks that's the weakest matchup? So he wants to start with the weakest deck against the Warrior?
Inderen still has to win with every deck he has.
Yeah.
And if you lost 2 games with Druid and you don't feel that comfortable, you just lost 2 games with it, you might as well switch and say, hey, all right, I have other decks as well. I have to play them, and I need to win with them. So let's just take my signature deck, my great Mage deck that I really like, and try winning with it.
I think it kind of keeps you from tilting a little bit as well, too. You know, you've had 2 kind of rough games on Druid. You don't want to get yourself in the mindset where you see a certain hand and you're like, oh, great, this again, even though it could be a completely different game, too. So, you know, you could argue that it keeps sort of your mind fresh in this case.
Interesting to keep the flame cannon in your opening hand. I think that the only reason to do that is Armor Smith.
Yeah.
'Cause you want to use it on that Taskmaster, and if it's a, you know, Acolyte of Pain, also that's a decent card against Acolyte of Pain, but I still think it's kind of weird. You want to get minions against the warrior like most of the time, right?
Right.
So what do you think about Inderen mulliganing the portal? Mulligan portal away.
Well, without the mana worm, maybe that was the issue. Like, if he would have the mana worm, then he would have kept the unstable portal, maybe.
So it seems like Inderen took a risk because he has to win this matchup, and it's not that great. He took the risk of mulliganing away cards to get this mana worm back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he didn't get it.
You know, I mean, the interesting thing there too is that, you know, with that presumably inexpensive minion from the unstable portal, it draws some of the warrior removal out early that you'd rather have, you know, not used on some of your minions. Flame Canyon there against the Acolyte, so only 1 draw from that. But
I'm interested in what type of secret is that?
That's a Merenity. He wasn't able to play Merenity.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yep.
So now you basically play Taskmaster and Armor Up. That's it.
Yeah, Orange is fine. Right now, Orange can deal with this Mirror Entity. Even though he doesn't have great play this turn, he is able to deal with it, and he has Lotheb, he has Shieldmane, he has Sylvanas, and he has all the time in the world. Inderen wasn't able to get early start. He has mid-range creatures as well. The big question is, who is gaining advantage as the game progresses?
I think Warrior has the better endgame, right? Against that type of mage. There will be Dr. Boom for sure. Maybe Antonidas, right? Because you have additional spells.
Ragnaros.
should have one. Ragnaros, yeah.
But you don't have the spare parts because you're not playing the mech mage. So the Antonidas kind of goes weaker in the end game. So I'm not exactly sure if we'll see even Antonidas in this deck.
He has a lot of secrets, and he has a lot of spells as well. Like, we've seen the Flame Cannon, he has Frostbolts. I'm not entirely sure if he has Antonidas, but definitely he has Dr. Boom and Ragnaros.
Wouldn't be surprising to see it, I suppose, in this. We'll see. Piloted Shredder, maybe the turn here. It's on curve. Still has that 2/2 to deal with. Would you maybe consider coining out something as well?
I like Piloted Shredder as a card here. The 2/2 doesn't really contest it. You've seen Fiery Warax, you know that it's not getting dropped. If there is a Death Bite, it will be awkward curve. There is a Death Bite, but it's turn 5. And
Still a good draw.
Yeah. Death Spite. Well, at least he can go ahead and take care of the Piloted Shredder. Oh, wow. A Neutron.
that's
Man.
really weird for Orange, because this Annihilatron is going to stop the weapon attack.
Yeah.
That's the best drop that could have dropped out of the Piloted Shredder here.
We've been seeing a lot of that from Piloted Shredders recently,
Yeah.
haven't we? Yeah.
Well, or is it going to stop? Because I think Inderen doesn't have enough mana to play a good minion and also not lose
Well,
this Annihilatron.
he can play the Mirror Entity right now. And as we could have seen, there were 2 Taskmasters being played. So only creatures that have no value for the mage is Armor Smiths. That's
Yeah.
it. Well, and Big Game Hunter, but he can't really think about that creature right now.
Yeah, you definitely, when you see a couple of small creatures, you hope that there is no other small creature in the warrior's hand, and you do lock the Shield Maiden being played, or Lotheb, or something like Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, do you maybe just give up the Big Game Hunter there? Since you know that that's kind of the least value you can give him?
I think you can, because you do have the Shield Slam, and you have good curve. You do have Sylvanas, that is a card that can also counter the big creature. And but you're not sure if this is Mirror Entity. That's the thing. Like, we are sure.
That's true. That's true.
It can be a counterspell. So, playing Big Game Hunter into a counterspell is really weird.
Doesn't do a lot. He's going to give it a try. And I feel like you're more likely to see a Mirror Entity lately, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, most of the decks they run, most of the mages, they run double Mirror Entity. But then the Tempo Mage runs, sometimes there is duplicate, sometimes there is counterspell. But then again, this situation, this kind of board, with only Annihilatron, bluffing a counterspell or bluffing a duplicate wouldn't be a great choice.
Wow, he draws the Dr. Boom as well. There's the Mana Worm now for Inderen.
A really weird turn for Inderen here. I think you have to go for Azure Drake, see the outcome, maybe con out Hero Power then afterwards.
What about using the Flame Cannon, ping, and Mana Worm, and going for face? It's like you ping for 1, you play Mana Worm, you do play the Flame Cannon, and attack face for 4. You have 2 minions on board, you've dealt some damage, and you keep those big creatures for later.
You end up with a 2-3.
If you play Azure Drake, then you have an option to Fireball without any help the Dr. Boom on turn 7.
Ooh, that's a very good point.
This might be very important in the upcoming turn, but on the other hand, I agree with your point of view here with the Mana Worm also.
Well, if you do the play with Mana Worm, then you can just trade your small minions into Dr. Boom if it's getting played.
I don't see the point in playing Belcher instead of the Azure Deck. There was one Death Spite already being played.
And there's another Death by coming.
Oh, wow.
Never mind.
He just drew it. Seeing into the future.
Yeah, and is great foresight, great call.
I guess so. There's another Death Spite. So, what do you do here? Do you just throw down the Dr. Boom? Do you just get that strong board presence?
I think, I'm not sure who said that, if it was you or Chobra, but whenever Dr. Boom is green, you play it. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's generally the rule with Dr. Boom.
A lot of players...
Unless you lose by playing Dr. Boom because I have no tons.
No, it's like...
Dr. Boom is always the best.
Sometimes players try to cheat themselves and see if there is another play.
You know, he can get enough armor to shield slam this Sludge Belcher too, so maybe the Shield Maiden wouldn't be that bad.
Well, that's certainly a play, just playing Shield Maiden and using the Shield Slam. One of the best combos the Warrior has right now with the new card.
It feels a bit, it does feel a little bit overly cautious, doesn't it? Whereas with Dr. Boom, suddenly you're the one taking control of the game. You're the one setting the pace.
Yeah, definitely. And now the Azure Drake with Flame Cannon deals with the Shields Maiden, which is really awesome.
Yeah, Flame Cannon getting a lot of value, just getting the 6-drop with 2 mana card.
And now the Drake is protected from the weapons, so really smart play with that Belcher on the turn before.
Do you play Dr. Boom off curve now?
That's a little bit rough. I mean, you've got a couple other options as well too. I think he's got another Sludge Belcher in his hand.
I think the
Memory
reasoning behind
serves.
Orange was not playing Dr. Boom was that he was afraid that a simple Fireball and a ping would deal with it, and then Boom does not entirely deal with the Sludge Belcher.
True, yeah.
And you don't necessarily play around Flame Cannon often.
Yeah,
Second Flame Cannon even.
It is interesting to see 2 Flame Cannons in this deck, but at least they're out of the way now. It's like it might be Lotheb Fiery War Axe, yeah, and he can at least just kill the Ooze there.
So playing Sylvanas here is really bad. So we'll have to see most likely a Mana Worm and Stable Portal.
I suppose, I mean...
If you hit a minion for 3 mana or less, you can actually play it.
Yeah, get something on the board. Because like you said, I mean, Sylvanas would not give you anything because you could just trade the Lotheb into it. So
Exactly.
as awkward as it is, what to do? I think Mana Worm Unstable, it's about as good as you could get right now.
Yeah, it's like a decision between Arcane Intellect or Unstable. I think I like Unstable because you can get something really good.
You
What
can
about
also ping
using
Lotheb.
Frostbolt? Like you play the Mana Worm and just Frostbolt Lotheb?
I think that's too much mana. I like Sylvanas on empty board though.
Certainly a lot stronger than Sylvanas right in front of a 5/5. But a lot of answers in the hand of Orange. A lot of stuff that he can maybe use here.
Well, it's
Actually,
weird.
not really answers.
Yeah, exactly.
never
It's
mind.
like
Yeah.
you just play Boom.
I guess. I mean, if you...
Armorsmith.
Boom Armorsmith? Yeah, that seems to be the best option.
Yeah, I mean, against Sylvanas, you can either take her out before playing any minions or just kind of flood the board.
And before Mind Control tech on the top.
Yeah, right.
The more I look at it, the more I like the Sylvanas play that Inderen did. But this only proves why he's sitting there and we are sitting here.
Yeah,
Very true,
just like-
very true. Sorcerer's Apprentice, okay.
Well, it gives him a lot of options to play cards. What you want to do is definitely try to steal Boom, unless you have lethal, but I don't think there is one. So maybe try getting the options. You can also Frostbolt the Boom if he feels threatened, but then again, Warrior only has 3 hearts. You are at 30, so you probably want to deal with the board.
True enough.
I think frostbolting is not so bad. You can't. Then you put Warrior in a situation when he is sacrificing the bombs without being certain that the Sylvanas will live. You know.
By the way, that was a really close one. If that bomb would hit Sylvanas, there would be a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So now unstable portal first, because you can't really predict what will happen. So you don't want to play Arcane Intellect for 2 points of mana right now.
Yep, makes
Card
sense.
from collection, what is going...
Captain Greenskin. Hey, it's a 5/5 for 2 mana. That's not that bad
5/4?
later on down the line. Yeah, 5/4, 5/4.
Yep.
You're right.
That's a good 2-drop.
Yeah.
So now Arcane Intellect into Frostbolt to... Oh,
he's just...
really okay.
All right.
Frostbolt minion. And he didn't use the Frostbolt. Really interesting.
Well, he is setting up board to attack and deal as much damage as possible. Then just having the Sylvanas on board is still awkward. Sylvanas is setting up a very weird situation where Orange can't really extend the board. He needs to deal with the Sylvanas somehow.
Yeah, you just need to be so careful that Boombot doesn't help you give away Dr. Boom.
You know, my reason to use Frostbolt to the Dr. Boom was sole purpose of keeping him alive. Because right now he can be dealt with anything. Like apart from execute, like any points of damage from the warrior will kill him because he will be at 7-2 if he will attack into Sylvanas or the Greenskin. And this way, if you kill the Sylvanas, he would most likely steal a 7-4 minion.
Well, you can try stealing Sylvanas. If you get a good Boombot hit, if you kill the 3-2 with the Boombot. Oh, he's going for Sylvanas. Like, there is a slight chance to steal Sylvanas if you attack. It is really ambitious. Like, attack into 5-4, attack with the Boombot. Oh, he actually gets the Boombot here. So great outcome for Orange.
Yeah, and he can use the Shield Slam to take out Captain Greenskin. So, weapon attack into the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And, you know, not the worst turn. Yeah, playing that Sludge Belcher now. And Death Spite, not opting to armor up, but giving himself another weapon here potentially. Yep,
that was really that was a really powerful turn. Like Orange had a chance to try do some shenanigans and give himself a small chance of stealing Sylvanas, but instead he went for a 50-50, a damaged Dr. Boom or a Boombot, and he won the 50-50, which means he positioned himself in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, so a little bit awkward for Inderen right now.
Or
still 27 health.
He has to use the Frostbolt to kill off the Dr. Boom right now. That's
or maybe use the Boombot possibly to try to snipe the Dr. Boom.
That's pretty possible.
You start with the Arcane Intellect, most likely.
See what you draw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know the exact list of Inderen, so sometimes it's hard to tell if you show Arcane Intellect because he knows the list he uses, so he knows the outcomes of what he can draw.
All right, he's going for the bomb hit. He misses.
It didn't hit. That would have been 2 damage that he would have much rather seen on the Dr. Boom.
Well, now you have to Frostbolt it.
Yep, Frostbolted or run your Mana Worm into it, but Frostbolt probably the safer bet there.
Orange seems a bit stressed. He only has the Sylvanas. This is not something you want to see as a warrior. You want to have more cards, more options. There is this Death Bite on the board, but still. You're going to take a lot of damage. 17, and he will have to attack into that Mana Worm.
Bomb Lover.
Bomb Lover, wow.
That's quite a draw.
That's a great top deck.
Both are good though. Like, you saw one Fireball, one Frostbolt being played, so you know there's not so much burst left in the Magic Mage deck.
You know what, on the other hand, like looking at the situation, I give advantage to Inderen. Like he has Arcane Intellect, Refill his hand, he has Ardric, which is a great card. He can play both next turn. Refill, get 3 cards overall, drawing 1 at the start of turn.
Yep, Sylvanas is way better here. But
yeah.
now Arcane Intellect can give him a second Fireball, and this will be really insane. Or Flame... No, he used both Flame Cannons, right?
Yeah,
yes,
he used both
Flame Cannons. Well, on the other hand, Bomb Lobber is going to counter the Ardric at some point.
True. Lothab?
Lothab is good.
Lothab is not bad, definitely.
You play Lothab into Sylvanas, they trade, unless there's a weapon. There's Death Spite.
Yeah.
And even you don't have to use the Death Bite with your face because you just attack Mage, and then you play Bomb Lobber to finish off the Lothab.
Yeah, very true.
Castle Mystic is a blank, but it is a minion, a 4/3 that Inderen will be able to play. And at this point, I can say that Orange is not running Alexstrasza in his deck.
Yes, which means that if he drops below 15 health, there's not really a way for him to get back up there again, which
Also,
is pretty scary. And he can't take away, of course, Inderen's health, yeah.
Does he play shield blocks? We didn't see any, right?
I don't believe he does.
I think he runs Frothing Berserkers,
Right.
Bomb Lobbers, Gorhau, and Pilot Shredders.
Oh, there's Gromash.
That's really...
Well,
Yeah,
Gromash.
He's got Death's Bite right now, you know?
Yep.
Well, when he's Alexstrasza, we can deal a lot of damage
I
with the weapon.
guess
It's like
so,
a
yeah.
draw. That was a fantastic draw for Orange.
So let's kind of think about this for a moment. Yeah, 8 plus 4.
That's one of lethal next time.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be 24, wouldn't it?
No, wait,
No.
it's lethal.
Yeah, it is 24 because it's 8 plus
Yeah,
4
yeah,
for the weapon. It would activate Gromash to 10. But I don't think Sylvanas is going to get a chance. There's a Frostbolt. He's going to be able to ping that as well if he wants to.
So no more lethal.
Yep.
And Inderen is fighting back, even
Oh,
though...
slight misplay with the mana room.
That's
Maybe
true.
he didn't want to play it at all, but not exactly sure what was the...
If you play Mana
here.
Worm, it just dies to a 3/3.
So do you maybe go Gromash, attack into the minion here, and then have 2 big minions, they have nothing on the board, you have that Shield Maiden next turn to gain a bit of armor?
You can do that, certainly. You can also just
like
trade
Willow?
a 3/3 into a 3/4, 3/3 into 4/3 and
boy.
the Shield Maiden. But
Yeah.
this board is definitely great, and it seems like the game might be over. Inderen needs just something to deal with that Gromash.
Polymorph.
Piloted
Nope,
Shredder is
that's
not
it.
going to do it.
That's end of the game.
That's the end
Yep.
of a match. Orange
That's
is going
game.
to advance to the finals.
Wow, Orange is about to 3-0 Inderen, and there's a
Yeah, there's
concede,
the
and Darren
concede.
knows. And
Wow.
that is it. Orange, he managed to get a win in the first round. Now a 3-0 over Darren. He's going to the finals of the ESL Legendary Series.
Wow,
If he will
such
keep
a
up
match.
with those coin flips and RNGs from the Pilot Shredder, I see
Huge.
him winning the whole IM here.
Well, you can talk about con flips and RNG, but then, on the other hand, he has his great lineup, he qualified. He's not an
Yeah, of
invited
course.
player. He's
I'm
one
not
of the
diminishing
qualified.
his skills here. It's you know, in card games you need that day when you have that over medium luck.
You have to put yourself in a position.
Yeah.
Well, a bit of luck will help you, but then great skill, and Orange doing really good at the ESL stage right now.
Yep, that's right. So, another big smile on the face for Orange as he takes his second victory here today. He is going to the finals. And when we come back, guys, we'll have an interview with him, catch up with Orange, see how things are going. Until then, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our second semifinal at the ESL Legendary Series right after this.